Another ingredient in the mix is social safety. When I talk about social safety, I'm talking about the kind of problems we see when kids don't get along with one another, when they don't know how to interact with one another. There are a few things we can do to create social safety. First of all, we start paying attention to how kids interact with one another. Some of the research I've done on emotional experiences in the classroom, I cannot tell you how many times I've heard from adults, where were the teachers when these people were picking on me, when these people were beating me up, when they were calling me names? So many people sent me stories or emails or told me stories in interviews about horrifying events, being hit with a baseball bat or called names or beaten up or shoved into a locker right in front of a teacher who just did not advocate for them. So the first thing I would like to see us do is to start paying more attention, to quit making excuses or saying, oh, that's just a rite of passage or that's normal childhood behavior, to create the kind of a social culture where when we hear a kid say a mean word to or about another kid, we step up to the plate and say, we don't talk like that here. That is not an acceptable part of that culture. Now, what I'm seeing happening now, someone was telling me a story about how her son was thrown out of school for using an ethnic slur. He used a word that was derogatory, racially derogatory. And he was given a week's suspension for doing this. Now, on one hand, I have to credit the school at least for acknowledging and being aware and not making excuses or allowing this behavior to continue. My question is, what did this child learn by being thrown out of school? Here was a wonderful opportunity. Do you think he developed more tolerance, appreciation, sensitivity, empathy, or any of the other skills we want kids to develop or character traits we want them to develop by being sent home for a week? He got a vacation. If anything, all he learned how to do was, communicate his prejudices a little more quietly or a little more selectively. Here was a golden opportunity to help work with this child in such a way that he would come out of that experience with a different set of values and a different set of behaviors. So number one, we're going to change our level of awareness and advocacy for the kids who are getting a hard time. Number two, we're going to teach some social skills. Most of the kids that we see, certainly a lot of the kids I see with the high-risk teens that I've worked with, are kids that are not very good at setting boundaries, at interpreting social cues, at learning how to make an apology. They're more concerned about maintaining this honor or their dignity or protecting themselves in such a way. Once again, to be able to say, whoa, I'm really sorry, I blew it, takes a tremendous amount of centeredness and skills and things that kids don't often come to school with. I'd like to see kids learn how to ask for what they want instead of calling names or asking kids, please don't call names or please don't call me that or let's play without hitting. We can teach 4 and 5-year-olds to do it because I've seen teachers do that. So number two, we're going to build social skills. There are social skills curriculums available that will help teachers build the skills that many kids are coming from home lacking, just because the parents don't know this or they don't know to teach this. Number three, we are going to build emotional intelligence. I would love to see kids learn how to take a little bit of teasing or ribbing and not take everything so personally. I'd love to see kids learn how to stand up for themselves without hurting one another. I'd love to see kids just be able to disengage from a conflict without, having to retreat to a corner and plot their revenge. There are also programs to build EQ, emotional intelligence in kids, because there's research that shows that EQ is even more important than IQ when it comes to surviving and succeeding in life. There are things we can do in the classroom. Now, a lot of teachers say, I don't even have time to cover the fractions or the addition or the history, we're so far behind. Well, I guess again it comes down to what are we doing in the schools? What is our purpose? If the kids come to us and they've got all these skills, then we don't obviously need to pay attention to them. We can concentrate on the cognitive. Unfortunately, we've been concentrating on the cognitive to the exclusion of other things that keep getting in our way over and over and over again.